let's resume from where we left off. Could you please read the first part of the text out loud?
She's a good girl, quiet and obedient. She blushes at the slightest thing. And you want me to believe that despite her young regent proper upbringing, she fell in love with a man she'd be afraid to look at. The very thought of it is ridiculous. You'd have to be stupid to think that someone so perfect could make such an unnatural mistake as that. The devil must be behind this. Therefore, I say again that he must have used some powerful drug or magic potion on her. You're saying this isn't proof. There has to be clear evidence that he's done this, not just these accusations. Tell us, Othello, did you trick or deceive this lady in some way, or did you agree to this as equals? Please send for Desdemona to come here from the Sagittarius Inn and ask her to speak about me in front.
All right, so what's happening in this part of the text? How does the story proceed at this point in time? What is the atmosphere like? What is the main idea that is currently being discussed in this part of the text?
Desdemona's father is, his tone is very accusing, and he's blaming Othello for taking his daughter away from him. And the atmosphere is quite tense at this moment, with Othello trying to prove that he's innocent, and while he's being accused of doing such things. And he's now getting Desdemona to prove that he's innocent and that all of this was part of an equal agreement.
All right, yes, that's right. So let's have a look at the rest of the text. Is there anything that you would like me to explain to you in this part of the text?
No, I understand this part of the text.
All right, okay, so we're starting off with Act 1, Scene 3, page 6. So let's proceed with the rest of the text. Could you please read the highlighted text out loud?
In front of her father. If she has anything bad to say about me, then you can sentence me to death. Bring Desdemona here. I will bring Desdemona here. You know where she is. In the meantime, I'll tell you all, as honestly as I confess my sins to God, how I wooed this beautiful lady and how she came to love me. Tell us, Othello. Her father loved me and used to invite me to his house often, continually asking me about my life and all the battles I fought. I told him.
All right, so let's proceed. Could you please continue?
I told him everything from my boyhood up until the time when I was talking to him. I told him about unfortunate disasters, hair-raising adventures on sea and on land, and near catastrophes and dangerous adventures I've been through. I told him how I was captured and sold as a slave, how I bought my freedom, and how I wandered through caves and deserts. I was able to tell him about cannibals who eat each other, and men with heads growing below their shoulders. When I talked about all these things, Desdemona used to listen attentively. If she had to go do some household chore, I noticed that she'd always come back quickly to hear more of my stories.
All right, so how does Othello feel about Desdemona? And how does he make a case for her devotion towards him? How does he exhibit that through his speech?
Well, he's telling the story of how he kind of befriended Desdemona's father and how that made him become close to Desdemona as well, and how she, like his Desdemona's admiration for his stories brought them closer together, and how Desdemona would always want to hear the adventures of Othello, and that's how they got to spend time together and slowly grow closer.
Absolutely, yes, that's right. So I hope you're clear on this part of the text. Would you like to move forward?
Yeah.
Could you please read this part of the text out loud?
Okay. When I was relaxing, she'd pull me aside and ask to hear some part of a story she had missed. Her eyes would fill with tears at the bad things I went through in my younger years. When my stories were done, she'd sigh and tell me how strangely wonderful and sad my life had been. She said she wished she hadn't heard it, but she also wished there was a man like me for her. She thanked me and told me that if a friend of mine had a story like mine to tell, she'd fall in love with him. I took the hint and spoke to her. She said she loved me for the dangers I'd survived, and I loved her for feeling such strong emotions about me. That's the only witchcraft I ever use. Here comes my wife now. She'll confirm everything.
All right, so he continues to advocate for the admiration that Desdemona has towards him, and he continues to put forth both to clear his character, right? He would like, and he's very genuine when he expresses how Desdemona actually felt for him, and he narrates each and every aspect of the story in great detail. So he's trying his best to clarify his position and Desdemona's position at this point in time. So let's continue with the rest of the text. If you're clear on the previous bit, could you please continue reading the Duke and
I think a story like that would win my own daughter over. Brabantio, I urge you to make the best of this. Try to accept what's happened. Please let her speak. If she admits she wanted this, then I won't blame Othello. Come here, my child. If you obey here.
All
Father,
right,
this
could you
isn't...
please continue on to Desdemona's dialogue?
Yeah. Father, this isn't easy for me. I'm torn. I owe you respect because you gave me life and education. You're the one I have to obey. I'm your daughter. But this man here is my husband now, and I owe him as much as my mother owed you, just as she preferred you to her own father. So I have to give my obedience to the more my husband. I'm finished then, Duke. Please go ahead with your state business. I'd rather adopt a child than have one of my own. Come here more. I'm forced to give you my blessing to this marriage. With all my heart, I give you that thing which, if you didn't already have it, I'd try with all my heart to keep from you. Desdemona, I'm glad you're my only child, since if I had others, I'd keep them all locked up. You would have made me treat them like a tyrant. I'm done, my lord.
All right, so what you can gauge from here is, right, that Desdemona asserts her independence from her father, and she expresses her obedience to Othello. So this is a reflection of the theme of womanhood, right? Of women in society. How women in society are always obedient to some man, or there's at least they're supposed to be obedient to someone, right? And men who weren't able to keep their women obedient back in the day were considered to be failures. And this does resonate with this theme does resonate in today's day and age as well. to not in every part of the world, but to some extent, this mindset still prevails.
Yeah.
All right, so it also reflects the theme of manhood and honor, and how male figures are always trying to assert and protect their manhood and their honor, and ensuring obedience of women is one way that they are able to do that. So I hope that you are clear on the themes that are exhibited through Desdemona's dialogue, and through the reaction Brabantio has towards her obedience to Othello.
Yeah.
Okay, so could you please continue with the dialogue with Brabantio and the Duke's dialogue?
Okay. Let me help you forgive these lovers. If you can't change something, don't cry about it. When you lament something bad that's already happened, you're setting yourself up for more bad news. A robbery victim who can smile about his losses is superior to the thief who robbed him. But if he cries, he's just wasting time. So if the Turks steal Cyprus from us, it won't be bad as long as we keep smiling. It's easy to accept attitudes like that if you haven't lost anything, but I've lost something precious, and I have to put up with the platitude as well as suffering my loss. Talk is cheap. I've never heard of someone feeling better because of someone else's words. Please, I'm asking you, go ahead and get back to your state affairs. The Turks are headed for Cyprus with a powerful fleet. Othello, you understand better than anyone how the defenses for Cyprus work, even though we have a very good officer in charge there already. Everyone says you're the better man for the job. So I'll have to ask you to put a damper on your marriage celebrations and take part in this dangerous expedition. I've gotten used to the hardships of a military life. I rise to the occasion when faced with difficulties. I will take charge of this war against the Turks, but I humbly ask you to make appropriate arrangements for my wife, giving her a place to live and people to keep her company that suit her high rank. She can stay at her father's house. I won't allow it. Neither will I. And I wouldn't stay there. I don't want to upset my father by being in his house. Dear Duke, please listen to what I have to say. What do you want to do, Desdemona? When I fell in love with Othello, I made up my mind that I wanted to live with him. You can see how much I wanted to be with him, by how violently I threw away my old life. I feel like I'm a part of him now, and that means I'm part of a soldier. I saw Othello's true face when I saw his mind. I gave my whole life to him because of his honor and bravery. If I were left at home uselessly while he went off to war, then I'm separated from my husband and his natural element. I'd be miserable without him. Let me go with him. Please allow her to do this. I'm not asking to have her near me for sex. I'm too old for that. And my sexual urges are dead. I want this because she wants it. I love her for her mind, and I never want you to think that I'd neglect my serious official duties while she was there with me. If I ever let love blind me so that I choose to lounge around in bed with my loved one instead of going off to war, then you can let a housewife use my helmet as a frying pan. My reputation would be disgraced if I ever accepted that. You can decide that privately. I don't care whether she stays or goes. What's important is the urgency of this mission. We've got to act fast. You'll have to leave tonight. With all my heart, I'll go right away. We'll meet again at 9 in the morning. Othello, have one of your officers stay behind to bring you your commission and whatever else is important to you. My lord, my ensign is an honest and trustworthy man. He'll accompany my wife and bring whatever else you think I might need.
All right. So what happens is Othello needs to get back to. So they start having conversations about the Turks, right, and how Othello needs to go and get back to his state duties. Othello and Desdemona exhibit devotion to each other, but uh, uh, but they do not exhibit excessive sexual passion, and that is because Othello has faith in Iago, and he entrusts his wife. Uh, and Iago to his wife. So let's continue. Could you please continue with the Duke Brabantio and Othello's dialogue?
Goodbye, Blackmore. Treat Desdemona well. Keep an eye